Hello friends, so in this class we will be learning about variables and categories of variables.
So from raw facts we have extracted data values from which we can convert it to constants and then store these constants in variable for further data processing and reusability. In ABAP, variables are called data objects. Data object is very similar to an info object like in BW, and these are the simplest form of storing data in programming. Containers contain the content. Variable is very similar to empty container where it holds data or constants. So it's typically like a box, an empty box wherein we can store some variable, some value. Variable can store many values or constants, but only one value can be stored at a time. Which means if we are trying to keep a equal to 5 and at the next programming statement we are setting a equal to 10, then it will replace the 5 with 10. So at a time it will keep only one value, though it is able to store multiple values, but at a time it would be able to store only one value. All the variables are created temporarily. So throughout the program the variable values will get changed as per the program logic. All the variables created are temporary. They are created in RAM of application server when the program gets executed and it is wiped off. Number of constant type equal to number of variable types. In any programming language, the type of constant that are defined will be similar to the number of variable available. In ABAP, we are having 6 data types like character, decimal, date, time, numeric, and integer. So, same other types of constant can be created. So, if we are creating a characteristic type constant, then we can create a variable of it as well. Same is for decimal, date, integer. So, that's what this point illustrates, that number of constant type is equal to the number of variable types. Content takes shape of the container. So John is a characteristic type constant and 1888 this is a date type of constant. 33.87 is a decimal type of constant and 47 is an integer type of constant. Now if we create a variable C1 which is of type character, and if we assign this date constant to the character variable, then it will not be stored as date in C1. It will be stored as characteristic type. So even though the date 1881 is of type date, but when it is stored in C1, which is the characteristic type, it will be stored as character value as the variable is of type character. Here the terminology variable is container and constant is the content. Thus, content takes the shape of container. So whatever that content may be, it depends on what is the container that you are holding. So if it is of decimal type, that will be converted into decimal. If it's of integer, it will be converted into integer type, and so on. So there are 3 major categories of variable. Let's assume this space to be the RAM of application server, and this is our scalar variable which holds one value at a time, and another one is a structure variable. It is a type of variable which can hold a record type of variables with many values at a time. So basically it will be holding only one record at a time. And the next one is internal table variable. So if you want to hold multiple number of records, then we can use internal table variable. So these are all the major categories of variable. So in the coming lectures we'll be working on these 3 types of variable. So points to remember, that while assigning a variable name, it should only contains letters, digits and underscore. It is not allowed to give any spaces or any special characters while defining a variable name. Reserved keywords. Few keywords are reserved by SAP and these cannot be used by a programmer for their programming, as they already have some certain fixed meaning. For example, data, length, decimal, types, etc. These are all reserved keywords and cannot be used as a variable name or in any other way. Finally, the operators. Symbols that are used to perform different mathematical operations like plus, minus, greater than, less than, or it can also be written as GE, that is greater than LE less than EQ, that is equal to modulus, mod, and div, and etc. So now let's talk about the flow of the ABAP programming language. The first and the foremost thing is variable declaration. At the very start of our programming, we will be declaring the variable that we want in our program. And once that is done, then we will be giving proper assignment as per the logic. Once the assignment is done, the next part is the control statement. Over here, we control the execution of statements in our program. Which line should we execute first and which line to be executed last as per the logic. And the open SQL statement are the statements which are used to work on database level tables to insert, update, delete, and so on. Internal table commands. These are furthermore commands which are used to efficiently perform actions on internal table. And function modules statements. These are used when we work on function module to extract or to send the data. This is in general flow of programming language. Initially we declare the variable, and then we assign, then we give control statement, open statement. So these four are of utmost importance. However, their sequence might change depending upon the project requirement.